Hey, welcome back. It's time for another GM Facepalm episode as we delve into a review for Pathfinder's Adventure Path uh, Agents of Edgewatch 60 Feet Under. This is Book 2. We'll take a quick delve into this. The book was okay, in my opinion. There's a lot of frustrations that the party is going to have with the creatures, the encounters. They have particularly high ACs, and a lot of times the numbers to hit are very high, plus 22, plus 24, whatnot, just for the creatures in the bestiary, the opposition. So there's a lot of frustration for the party when they go against these creatures and the numbers are stacked so much more against them and not in their favor. Uh, it seems like the encounters are more deadly in this book compared to first edition. But my characters are usually optimized. Uh, there's a lot of heavy party management. They have been doing that in this book as well, where they are able, multiple people can heal simultaneously, patch people up quickly. But anyway, you have to perform a series of investigations in this book, tracking down a couple things in here, particularly upcoming bank heist. My players didn't really get into the bank heist. They went to ferret out the guild at their hideout instead of waiting to lure out the guild and attack them as they committed the crime. So I had to scrap the map for the bank and a lot of the things and encounters that would have happened there. So a lot of that was scrapped, so we just ran in a different path anyway, which is fine. But it wasn't really a heavy opposition for the group. They were able to sweep through very easily, and those +1 striking weapons do come in handy. It wasn't until you get to the dungeon where things take a bit of a turn. Chapter 4, Descent into Death. There's a huge dungeon here. I didn't care for the map too much as far as the layout. So I recreated it using Dungeon Draft, and it turned out really, really well. I liked the features of it and how it flowed. The party will not likely uncover the whole map since there's just a dizzying amount of ways to go. They can take their own path and then get sidetracked with something or see the prey that they came for and just go straight away for that. So they did miss quite a few things. It's easy for the group to pull other creatures in and create an even higher threat of an encounter. But the statues, when they first come upon them, they are just ginormous. That was a bit of a challenge, especially for how hard they hit. And the Doulahan wasn't much of a threat. The group wasn't even interested in the backstory or trying to figure out how to stop the rejuvenation of it. There were quite a bit of traps in here. One moment of hilarity would be the roper in this book, Zydelberic. It could be a deadly encounter for a group. He is supposed to grab someone and then toss them over the edge of this bridge for a 100-foot drop. So that's a potential deadly encounter there for a party member. But what's funny is one of my people, they tripped it. So the stalactite turned into a stalagmite. So that was a bit of a good time. There are black puddings in here, and the group wanted nothing to do with them. So they just took off running when they saw that. But what could be a TPK, heavy potential here, is the Tirokese, the Eldritch Horror from the Dark Tapestry. This thing has a huge amount of hit points, the most that they're going to see throughout the book thus far. And my group just ran around for rounds after rounds after rounds, trying to evade it, trying to take it out. There's so many great immunities that this thing has. And the strikes that it can do is just incredible. Plus 23 to hit, AC at 27. It's immune to crits, piercing, precision, slashing. So it really worked over the party pretty good. There were no deaths, luckily, so they were able to overcome it, but it was quite a challenge. One that I see that a group could easily fall prey to. Especially if you're pulling from other rooms, you try to get away from it, you run into another room where there's four Otalugs or uh, skitter stitches or whatnot. Um, there's a lot of deadly things in here. That's probably the worst of it, though. But my group kind of enjoyed the Skin Saw group, the murderers, the seamers. But they were just very annoyed and frustrated with just how the party opposition, just things were stacked against them in terms of the numbers. And if you were to look at the monster builder in the game mastery guide, it'll give you a section there that shows where all the numbers are supposed to be around. Should you want to create your own, or just use it as a reference to see if the numbers are kind of within range for a particular monster that you see in the book. But a lot of times you'll see that some of the numbers are just a little bit higher or go out of that range. And of course, the players are easy to notice this kind of stuff and call it out. So yeah, there's a lot of frustration with that. One of the people in my group, they run as GM for Age of Ashes, and that party was just very upset with the ACs and the hit ratios for the monsters in the bestiaries. So they just ended up quitting that game and ran something else. So it seems like a lot. I've been even looking at some of the forums and such online, and it seems like a lot of people are really upset, frustrated with how deadly these encounters can be. My group's still doing it though. We're on to the 4th book now. So it seems like everybody's doing okay, that they are prevailing. We had one party death by the kobolds in book 1, but that was it. But the Skinner was pretty fun to fight. What's really nice about a lot of these books that are coming out, particularly with the adventure paths, they are putting out spells, they are putting out archetypes, and what's neat about the archetypes is they're related to the book, the story in the book. There are certain characters that may try to train some of the party members and give them access to some archetypes, such as the monk stuff, or later on there's a gladiatorial event, and they may learn some feats from that, which are really cool. Or even when they go up against a bunch of different gangs, there are some feats and such from that are really cool. And you'll come across new spells during your confiscation of things during your foray into a particular dungeon or safe house or whatnot. So there's some new rituals and spells that the players can use. A lot of the items, though, in the back of the book, you just have to be careful of, because there are some spoilers, and some of them talk about the story or things that only the GM should see. So there is some concern for that. Other than that, everything went pretty well. This was an okay adventure path. It could have been a lot worse, but it put up a pretty good fight. And the dungeon, I would say, is fantastic, and the Skinner is as well. All in all, it's an okay book. Not quite as horrifying as book 1, with the way that they stack some of the threats to be very extreme. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about this. If you're interested in playing, we always do usually have a spot open for a 5th member. So feel free to comment, give a shout out if you would like to be in the game. We run map tools in Discord, and we do it Saturdays from 8 to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, you can check out my other website, GM Facepalm Blogspot something.com. It should be in my just link. You can go there if you need to look at any of the maps that I recreated using Dungeon Draft. just because some of the maps I didn't like, or I can't stand that some of them are in 10-foot grids. So 5 foot is definitely better. Never do 10 feet. That's all I got. See you next time.